Hello everyone. This is Anish Verma, and you're listening to the Empower Your Mind for Success podcast. Happy Friday. I hope you have some plans for the weekend in this quarantine season that we are all living in. Yesterday we spoke about the employee mindset and why we need to step back and reevaluate our thought process and belief systems. So I wanted to provide some contrast and talk about the business mindset. I studied a lot of online business owners and entrepreneurs starting about four and a half years ago, when my fifth business came to a disappointing end and I knew I had to do something different. So I started looking at them, reading about them, read a lot of books, read a lot about beliefs and mindsets and habits of successful people. And it's very clear that the business owners, especially the online business owners, and I think it might apply to the regular business owners, brick and mortar or franchisee business owners as well. But especially for the online business owners, it's pretty clear that they have a very different mindset. First of all, they have a growth mindset, and you might have heard, or if maybe you don't know about Carol Dweck. Carol Dweck was or is one of the psychology professors in a university, and I think she wrote a book called as Growth Mindset, where she compares and contrasts the two mindsets, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. Business owners definitely have a growth mindset. They have habits, they have thought processes and systems around them that encourage them to continue to learn and grow. There are two things that happen in a business whenever you do something. Either you grow or your business grows, right? There is always growth. And there are no failures in a business environment. And if you think about that, in a job environment, failures are frowned upon. The less failures you have, the better. But in business, I would say in general, failures are encouraged, because the only way to learn quickly is to fail quickly. It's not necessarily called as failing. It's called as temporary defeats or tests that you conduct to find out what way works or what doesn't work. And it's also called as failing forward, where you're always learning and improving and huddling with your mentors and trying to find a way to move forward. The other thing that business mindset owners do is that they're very consistent with what they do. They have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly and yearly goals. And they measure themselves, usually monthly to quarterly, but they measure their habits and their consistency on a daily, weekly basis. There is no magic to being successful in a business. For that matter, even at your job, right? But especially in business, there is no magic to it other than being consistent and persistent. Right? Darren Hardy always says that when motivation gives up, discipline takes over. And by default, motivation will always run out. You will be pumped to do something, especially at the beginning of the year, when you have New Year resolutions, when you want to do a lot of big things, but month, 2 months, 3 months into it, the motivation fades. But if you, during that same time, have been able to develop habits and systems that will keep you inspired to do the work, to put in the effort, then you will continue on your New Year resolution. Right? So that is why discipline is key. And usually the successful business owners are disciplined. They do their tasks on a daily basis. They're very consistent with it. Darren Hardy is one of my mentors. I listen to Darren Hardy every day. Another thing Darren Hardy says is that, he will always take consistency over heroics or great efforts, because he knows for sure that a person who is consistent with whatever he does will always succeed at the end. Against a person who may put in heroic efforts every once in a while. So that is one way, the business minded people or the business mindset people think. They have a growth mindset. They have a system of habits around them. The other thing is, and maybe, before I move on to the next thing, we could cover the topic of habits in another podcast. But if you're looking for a suggestion on habits, a very good book is The Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. By far one of the best books I have read on habits, where he, shows you how habits are formed, how you can take a bad habit and deconstruct it and reconstruct it to convert it into a good habit, and ensure that you can continue with your habits by putting small systems around you. So something to think about if you want to read about habits. James Clear, Atomic Habits, is the book that he wrote. Moving on to the next aspect of the business mindset, think about 4 concentric circles. Okay, the innermost circle is the comfort zone, and let's say these concentric circles are divided up into zones. Okay, so the innermost circle is the comfort zone. The next circle is the fear zone. The one after that is the learning zone, and the outermost concentric circle is the growth zone. All successful business owners have a mindset that allows them to be in the third and the fourth circle areas, or the zones, right? The learning zone and the growth zone. And growth happens only when you are uncomfortable. Guys, this is one of the laws of the universe, right? You cannot grow until you are uncomfortable. There are birds and animals in nature that you can Google, that they go through physical pain to outgrow their shells or their skin or their claws or feathers or beaks to be reborn again, right? So there is always growth only in the uncomfort zone, or when you are uncomfortable. Usually the people who are content, or usually the people with an employee mindset, who are content with where they are not looking too much growth up the corporate ladder, are usually in the comfort zone. There are a lot of people, who are trying to get out of the comfort zone, but the fear zone is the next, and they stumble in the fear zone because they don't know how to move forward. There is nobody helping them, or they are not seeking out for help to help them, get out of the comfort zone, navigate the fear zone, and get into the learning zone. And only when you are in the learning zone and you learn a lot, can you then get into the growth zone. And once you are in the growth zone and you can sustain that, then it is only onward and upwards from there. And that's when successful business owners can scale their businesses at a tremendous trajectory and at speed that allows them to become very rich and famous. But they have to go through their struggles of getting out of the comfort and fear zone. I gave an example of farming yesterday, and the same thing applies here as well. Business-minded people, or the business mindset people, know that you have to sow in the seeds to reap the benefits later. And there is a time lapse between sowing the seed and reaping the benefits, and it really depends upon the effort or the mindset and the habits that you put in of how quickly you can reap. Now, obviously, there is a law of physics and laws of universe that you have to wait for a certain period of time. How much is there is no definite answer for that. But people with a business mindset are always in the growth mindset, right? They're always willing to learn. The more successful a person is, the more they are very open to acknowledge that they don't know enough. And that is because after learning so much, studying so much, they realize that there is a lot more to learn, there is a lot more to know. And they are the first to raise their hand saying that, look, I don't know everything, or I don't know enough. And that is why they surround themselves with people who know certain aspects that they don't know. And they put teams of complementary people, or they put teams of mentors with complementary skills who can teach them and help them grow faster, right? That is also one thing that the business-minded people do. And another observation that I have of successful people, especially the ones who have made a lot of money and who have built businesses on good value systems, usually become more spiritual as and when they become more successful, because they have made enough money. Money is not anymore the intent of their growth. They have moved and grown above and beyond just making money. They have gone into a zone where they want to help others, they want to provide more value to others, and money is just like oxygen to them, like oxygen is to us. We never fight over oxygen or the air that we want to breathe, usually, at least not in the open, and we take breathing for granted. The same thing happens with rich and successful people. When they have made enough money, usually, if you are building businesses on good value systems, you would not worry about money then. You would worry about much larger and bigger things. That is why, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Oprah Winfrey, they all have these philanthropy initiatives. They are not tax shelters, guys. I know that is what we think, and we want to think of it that way because it helps us feel good that we don't have it or we are not in that situation. It's psychological. But these people are not doing it because of tax shelters. They really want to help people. They might be taking benefit of the tax codes because they would like to use all the monies to help people rather than giving it to the government. That is a possibility. But they become more and more spiritual in their lives. They know that there is much more in life than to make money. But one of the pathways, and I believe the right pathways to become spiritual, is to go through the process of making enough money that you have taken care of not only you, your family, your extended family, and now you can then think of becoming an angel investor or a philanthropist or a social worker, whatever you have a desire to do for others, right? Tony Robbins also says this, that you can be as successful or as rich as possible, but if you are not fulfilled with your life, you cannot count that as success. And I believe what he means by fulfillment is spirituality, and don't confuse between spirituality and religion. Okay, spirituality has got nothing to do with religion. Religion is a set of rituals that cultures have formed over a few years, and that is why they become a certain way of living life, and that's what religion is. Religion is more to do with rituals. Spiritualism or spirituality is more to do with finding your purpose in life, finding alignment with that one source of energy. You can call it God, or you can call it whatever you want, but there is this supreme energy that you are trying to find your oneness with, right? So that is what spirituality is, and people seek that and seek that sooner if they have found their way through the learning zone to growth zone and becoming very successful. So at least to give you some contrast between employee mindset and business mindset, I think this podcast would help you to find some contrast, right? I don't think this is a definite and holistic overview, but at least gives you some pointers, and we'll cover more and more topics as we move along. But this is something that I have realized in my studies over the last 4.5 years about successful rich entrepreneurs, who have done very successful businesses. So think about it, whether you do a business, whether you don't, but the mindset principles, if applied from a growth mindset perspective, it is only going to help you move forward. And it'll help you. It'll help you in your relationships. It'll help you at your job. It'll help you in your business, whatever you want to do. There are certain systems, certain belief systems and physical systems that these successful people embrace, and that is why they are successful. It is not a stroke of genius, or it is not some superpower that successful people have. On the contrary, these people are a pretty ordinary people like you and me. They have just figured out what they need to do with their time, how they can leverage their time by surrounding themselves with people, and how they can learn from mentors who can help them grow faster. At the end of the day, we all have 24 hours in a day. But some people have learned and mastered the art of utilizing those same 24 hours that you and I have. So if we keep this in mind, think more about growth, think more about learning, think more about taking action rather than being in the fear zone, and seeking help. I think all of us can achieve our dreams and goals, right? And the other thing is, the bigger the dream, the bigger the price to pay to achieve the dream. And when I say price, I don't mean that in a negative way. It's not that you put in money and get tenfold back. That's not what I mean, the price. By paying the price, I mean, maybe giving up on some of the things that usually people enjoy, like, television, or, spending a lot of time with friends over the weekend, or hanging out at the bar. They start cutting down on that, because that is the only way they know of how to utilize those same 24 hours in a day to leverage that for doing something more, better and bigger. So there you go. Like I said, these successful people are ordinary people like you and me. We are all born with unlimited potential, and I really believe this, that you have unlimited potential. Own it. Until next time, take care.